Just your attention for a minute, please. Tonight, I just want to let everybody know that the session is being recorded. So just to let you know. We'll be ready here in a minute. You ready? Okay. Okay, we're good to go. Welcome, everybody. We have a crowd in the gallery tonight, so I'd ask everybody to turn your phones on silent or your devices, and welcome everybody, and I hope, wish everybody a Happy New Year. So we'd like to call to order the January 13th, 2025 regular meeting of council. And the first order is to do the land acknowledgement. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is unceded Mi'kmaq territory, Epiwik, Prince Edward Island, Mi'kmaq is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this land for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. Second item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. So, okay, move. Okay, moved by Councillor Deputy Mayor Jenkins and seconded by Councillor Monroe. Any comments on our agenda or any additions, errors the council would like to make at this time? Okay. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion is carried. The third item is a disclosure of conflict of interest. Do we have anybody tonight in council that are in conflict of any items on our agenda? No?
Your Worship, I won't comment on 8.1 because I have a conflict.
Okay, we'll make a note that CAO Jameson will not comment on 8.1. Okay. Number 4 on our agenda is adoption of minutes. Adoption of the December 9th, 2024 regular council minutes. So the resolution is that the minutes of the December 9th, 2024 council meeting be adopted as written. They're enclosed in your package. If you anybody on council has any comments or errors or anything in those set of minutes, you can bring them forward at this time. Any, okay. I don't think I read the motion today. Okay, I better read the motion first. That the minutes of December 9th, 2024 regular council meeting be adopted as written. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Spins, second by Councillor McLean. All in favor? Aye. Okay. And we do have one more set of, we have a set of December 9th, 2014 special council meeting minutes, and the resolution is that the minutes of the December 16th, 2024 special council meeting be adopted as written. I need a mover and a seconder. Okay, moved by Councillor McFarland, second by Councillor McLean. Any comments on those minutes? Okay, seeing no comments, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Motion is carried. Okay, we have the RCMP report, but I'm not sure. Do we have any? Okay. Okay. Oh, I can't see you back there. Welcome, Sergeant Robinson.
Thank you. I apologize. I came on the wrong night in December.
Oh, that's.
Scrambling and I showed up.
Well, you make most of our meetings, so I'm sure we can forgive you for that.
Okay, so for December, we've had a person's crime.
Yeah, just.
Is this brand new? I think so.
There you go.
There we
Yep,
go.
You're on now.
That's for recording?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So persons crimes increased to 20 in December. It was up from 15 In November, assault was the most frequent with 8 reported. 2 were cleared by charge, while another 3 were concluded at the request of the victim. Uttering threats and sexual offenses, 2 and 5 respectively, made up the remaining activity, the majority of the remaining activity. Property crime rose slightly in December with 56 occurrences. This was equal to our November total. There were 17 mischief occurrences reported. 3 of them are still open and under investigation, and none resulted in charges or recommended charges. There were 4 fraud occurrences, followed by 5 theft under $5,000 occurrences. And of the 4 break-and-enters, 3 occurred in the same 72-hour period, and 2 of these are open and still under investigation. We're pursuing those pretty diligently. And then, of course, we had a 3rd occurrence later in December. We had 3 drug offenses that came across our path in December. 2 were possession-related. 1 we dealt with. Another one's still under investigation to see where that goes, and another one was not criminal at all, but it did involve illicit drugs. Traffic occurrences rose to 135 occurrences, up from 110 in November. Impaired driving accounted for 7. 3 were alcohol alone, resulting in charges laid or recommended in 1 of those, and 4 were by drug alone. We're seeing an increase in cannabis impaired driving, and charges are laid or recommended in 3 of those 4 cases. We had 1 refusal to provide a breath sample, which is still open and under investigation. Likely it's pending disclosure to Crown Counsel, or it happened late in the month. Speeding violations accounted for 24 occurrences, while there were 49 other traffic offenses or violations reported, and we had no fatal collisions. We did 11 check stops over the course of December, and this is specific to South Kings. This report is all specific to South Kings. I used to do the all Kings district, and I broke it down into South in this one. Okay. Overall, we had 355 occurrences in South Kings, 525 in all of Kings. 341 of the 355 occurrences in South Kings were founded or are still under investigation, and it's higher than last year, and it's also with our 290 occurrences and last November, which was 319 occurrences. It was pretty busy, but we also had a lot of self-generated work, including the 11 check stops, the impaired drivers, so that adds to our numbers. Policing initiatives, we attended several community events throughout December, including community dinners, Christmas tree lightings, Christmas parades, Toys for Tot charity, hockey game, National Indigenous recruiting event, and locations included Montague, Murray River, and Georgetown. I've also included selective traffic enforcement program where we focus on, either stop signs, speed, and you can see the results that we get from those. I've already commented on the traffic enforcement in total, which we saw an increase in December for us. And then, of course, specific to the town of Three Rivers, we had 212 of the occurrences were in Three Rivers. Of note, collisions were of the highest ones. Check stops, mischief, and mental health calls. So those were the 4 dominant calls that we received that occupied our time in December. As for resources, we, I believe we're doing good work despite being low. We have an allotment of 24 police officers. Currently we have 16 on the road, so we're a little bit thin. I've been making efforts to make sure that we stay on top, so I'm actually booked for, it says 25, but it's actually 26 because one is on loan to Montague Regional High. Yes. So the school resource officer recently had a baby, and we've replaced that month-long vacancy with one of our members. So while it says we have 25 total members on our paper now, we really have 26. Only 16 of the 25 are roadable. So you can see that we're hurting a little bit there, but I'm doing my best to keep our numbers up. We have a brand new external police officer that just arrived. He did 27 years for Charlottetown City Police. That's Constable Tim Kaiser. And we've got 2 brand new members coming from our training facility in Depot in Regina. And that's Constable Campbell and Constable Gahader-Singh, who are both arriving this month. So trying to keep the numbers up, and that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Councillor Spin, you have a question?
With the drug It wasn't criminal. There was no criminal act with respect to the drug, so it would have been found drugs or something that we can't really tie to a person committing a crime, I guess is what I'm saying. Who had it though? Yeah, so we couldn't tie it to a crime. We had no crime, right? The drugs are illegal, and we've seized them, but we have no crime associated to it.
So why would you see it?
Because it's
If they're
illicit.
illegal.
Because it's illegal.
It was found.
So, yeah. If we could link it to somebody, we would definitely investigate that. But in this case, we weren't able to attach it to a crime. So,
Okay, well, you're certainly busy. So just something, so you only have 16 roadable officers, is that what you said? That's down from what you usually have?
That's low, yeah.
Yeah.
And that puts us to
Okay.
about 36%,
Yeah.
64%. I'm optimistic February we'll see an increase in, I don't want to guess the number, but I'm optimistic that we'll see an increase in 3 come February, with members returning from various leaves or new members arriving. So I'm happy to say, like, our police officer our external police officer that we just received, he has to go to training for 2 weeks, but he's instantly a resource when he's in
Okay,
place.
that's good.
Whereas my new cadets that are coming from depot, they're not instantly a resource. They have to be with a trainer for
Okay,
6 months.
so they have to be with somebody.
2 to 6
Yeah.
months. So the earliest I can use them as a backup resource is 2 months. So
Okay,
so I'm working on it. Like, and if you look at my overall numbers, 24 is what I'm supposed to have. I
Yeah.
have 26, right? So I'm overbooked. It's just so I can offset the hardships that we're experiencing. So,
Yeah.
and I'm hopeful it'll resolve a little bit here come February.
okay. Anybody else have questions? Okay, go ahead, Councillor Smith.
Tim is officially Montague now?
He's in Montague now. He started on January 7th.
You got a good one then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay,
So he goes to our training facility in Chilliwack, British Columbia. It's called Pacific Region Training Center in February 3rd, and he'll be done February 17th, and he'll be full uniform after February 17th.
Councillor McFarland?
Thank you, Rich. I'm just looking for your business card.
I don't have any. I can connect with you tomorrow though and get you one. I can connect with you tomorrow and get you one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody over here? Okay, thank you very much. Certainly a busy division, and we thank you and appreciate your work.
Okay,
The
thank
work
you.
of everybody in the division. Thank you.
Do I turn this off?
No, you can just leave it on. Okay, number 6 is presentations and delegations. Speakers are allowed 5 minutes to present to council. Council members will not debate or enter into dialogue with speakers during the presentation. Council members may ask speakers questions after the presentation. And we had 4 people phone in to be added to the speakers tonight. Our first one, Mr. Eli Kingston, is unavailable tonight, so he won't be here. So we'll move right along to Janice Macbeth.
Good evening, my name is Janice Macbeth and I live in 86 Bald Eagle Drive. I'm addressing the council this evening regarding the changes to 2 specific definitions in the bylaw throughout the bylaw process. Every definition change comes with benefits or consequences to the community and should be addressed properly by the planning board, whose mandate is to investigate and survey the physical, social, and economic conditions in relation to the municipality. Definition of group home. This definition was amended at the November Planning Board meeting to delete the maximum number of residents in the group home, and it was also amended to no longer exclude homeless shelters, halfway houses, and transition homes. This change was made as a result of an email from a non-resident of 3 Rivers, namely Norma Dingwell. This person is part of a special interest group that is intent on bringing a homeless, outreach, low-barrier, active drug-using shelter to our area. Later that same week, a private meeting was held with the same representatives of council and those representatives of the special interest group. One member of our community was escorted out of this meeting here at Town Hall from the chambers and made to wait in the hallway with the rest of us. No notice to the public was given to this special meeting, which I believe is against the Municipalities Act. The biggest concern I have right now with this is that the group home definition, while it was changed, is still allowed in R1, R2, R3, rural residential, rural, and agricultural zones. Therefore, a homeless shelter can be anywhere. John Beer Drive, Jackaneer Crescent in Lower Montague, Campbell Avenue, East Street in Georgetown, Richmond Street. So I don't believe there's a whole lot of thought put into this decision, and I feel that this amendment should have never been allowed to proceed to provincial review. The second definition is place of assembly. The definition of place of assembly has been added to the bylaw and also as a list of the approved uses in the private, separate institutional zone. Place of assembly is not listed in any other zone, therefore this is a request from the occupants of the institutional zone. I did not see a public request for this, nor was it pointed out at any public meeting I attended or watched. If the latest chatter in the community is true, there is construction starting in the spring for expansions in the institutional zones that will not stop until construction is completed. I believe the expansions will be called a place of assembly and will then be approved by the planning board when the permits are submitted, as it is already in the approved list. The expansions will continue with little or no public transparency. Both of these definition changes show influence and direction given by certain special interest and nonprofit groups in our community to amend the bylaws upon their request and deceive taxpayers. I expect my representatives to offer fair and transparent discourse, not collusion with special interest groups. As Canadians, we want to live with others, in our community together and not separate. A multicultural society that grows and thrives together. The group from the institutional zone that has requested a place of assembly have been given approval by the government to build separate zones apart from islanders and seem to have enough wealth, influence, and resources to not need to live among us islanders. We hear about the new private hospitals, dentist office in Brudenell, police stations, and underground tunnels. We are fearful as citizens of being displaced out of our homes by this group as the expansion progresses. If there is blame to place in this community for unrest and upset regarding this group and the expansionism, it's on you, Council, and it's also on the province of Prince Edward Island for allowing the zoning accommodation and the definition manipulation in the bylaw and the provincial disregard for large land purchases on Prince Edward Island. This has led to the larger problem that has not been addressed by Council or the province, which is the division and segregation of community. One solution for community harmony is to treat this forum group as any other Canadian group or institution would be treated, and have them operate under our community's existing land zoning bylaws. And this is 100% in control of this council.
Okay, Janice.
I value our democratic social
Can we just have some respect, Janice? When we ask you to stop talking, this is the problem. We have people that don't abide by any of the rules that we have. So we will continue with the meeting, but everybody that comes, we treat them equally and they have 5 minutes. So let's make that clear. Does somebody like to speak up there back? Okay, move on. We'll move on to the next speaker, which is Mary and Chris Murmas. And you have 5 minutes, the same as everybody else.
Okay, press the button.
Yeah, your podium, your speaker's on.
Okay, Mary Murmas from Baldwin Road.
Chris Murmas,
Baldwin Road, same road,
off the Boulder Road.
same house.
Yeah.
Before we start our presentation, so I have some things to add, Chris has some things to add. Mr. Eli Kingston is not here. He was going to talk on upcoming events, effects of online accusations on the Jebus Monastery community. I don't get it. He's the only one that could speak on them? Because your agenda changed. You had his name on the agenda until this afternoon and this evening. I'm just surprised that you said Eli Kingston can't come, okay, but none of the monks wanted to come to talk about upcoming events, effects of online accusations? Like, it's been on your agenda till this afternoon.
I didn't take the message. All I was told
Yeah.
was that he could not be here
Okay.
tonight.
Well, we're disappointed if it's so serious to them that nobody else could come.
Yeah, okay. And is somebody on, can we just stop for 1 minute?
Yep.
Stop the timer. Somebody online says that we have no sound. Can we just check that? Cody, are you watching? The podium's off, though. No, the podium, okay, the podium's on now.
Is it working?
Do you think we're working, or do we have sound? Maybe it was just the podium. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Okay, I said that at the beginning. So our question, when is an issue a council issue? That's what we called in. We feel it is any issue such as rezoning, lot sizes, permit requirements, infrastructure plans, bylaws, community events. It is for the members of the community that the council serves, and it's for everyone's fairness and benefit. Mayor Johnson has already said that immigration or land sales are not council issues. So what do you, as councillors, see as council issues? So Eli Kingston is not here, nor anybody else from Jebus, to talk about what they wanted to talk about. We feel effects of online accusations on the Jebus Monastery community is not a council issue. So Chris has 2 paragraphs, and then I'll get back. Okay, there's the first one.
Okay. Yes, okay. In this publication, Maisonneuve, a quarterly of arts, opinion, and ideas. And in the picture it shows a long-robed holding money behind his back, and it's $20 bills. Well, if it was only $20 bills, they wouldn't get as far as they have now. But so anyway, it starts here. A mysterious Buddhist organization that recently arrived on Prince Edward Island with millions of dollars and a taste for organic farming. The monks and their followers are friendly, and you start to ask too many questions. So that's...
Well, and that story is from June 2013 by Mark Mann. So those of you, like me and us, who've been here for quite a while, you would remember the Mann family. His father was a doctor here for quite a while. Okay, and then Chris has one more paragraph.
And then the other thing is institutional zoning and CCDP influence. Editorial by Gary Clement, author of Undercover and former national director of Proceeds of RCMP. A growing movement on island is quietly transforming the landscape both physically and politically without awareness of many of its residents. What began as seemingly benign real estate developments has development. The Hope Town project is now part of a heart of a larger, more concerning agenda.
Okay, then it's back to me.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, to the members of Jebus, I was expecting to turn around and see them, but I don't. So you're out there in cyberspace. The ball is in your court. Are you not pleased with how some members of the community see you? Then you need to sit down with the community and have face-to-face sessions to explain your actions and answer questions. Do you want to fit in on PEI? Then this is what good neighbors do. Sit down and
Please.
talk it out. So if you didn't hear the last sentence, 2 sentences, do you want to fit in on PEI? Then this is what good neighbors do. Sit down and talk it out. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chris and Mary. We will, I guess I can't do much about your message was to the Jeebus community, is that correct?
Yes, and at the beginning we said this is not a council issue.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your presentation. Next, we have Mr. Charlie Hicken. And you can keep it to 5 minutes, Mr. Hicken, please. Okay, your mic is on. Go ahead.
My name is Charlie Hicken, and I'm a resident of Three Rivers. I wish to speak to you this evening about foreign interference. It has come to my attention that large amounts of property in Kings County is being purchased by foreign entities and corporations controlled by them and their followers. The last estimate I have heard is this exceeds 17,000 acres in Kings County. The homes on these properties are remaining vacant while there is a housing crisis. Farmland is not being cultivated at the same time as we're facing food insecurity. Large areas of forest is not being managed. Our forests are one of the best ways of combating global warming and climate change. Trees absorb large amounts of carbon dioxide from the air, and the federal government has committed to planting 3 billion trees by 2030 for this reason. A woodlot that is sustainably managed will absorb far greater amounts of CO2 than one that is not under management. Yesterday, while watching the news footage of the LA wildfires, where many people have died and thousands of homes have been destroyed, I was very surprised by what I heard. Everyone had great praise for the efforts of the firefighters, but when asked about the causes, I fully expected to hear climate change and global warming. Not one of the dozen people that were interviewed mentioned this. Each and every one stated the cause was land use policy and legislation at the state and local levels. Farms were not being cultivated and forests were not under management. This is exactly what is happening in Three Rivers, and it is not if, but when we will have wildfires as a result. This is also being compounded by the damage from Fiona. It is common knowledge that a number of people from town council have profited by real estate transactions with these foreign entities. I try to be a positive person and would like to believe that this would not influence council's decisions, but one wonders. When concerned residents show up for changes in development bylaws, they were met by uniformed security guards restricting entry to the meeting. This is something I would expect to see in a third world country. Residents who tried to express their opinions were told they could only discuss certain topics. A certain senior citizen did make a statement and was later harassed on the streets of Montague to the extent that they felt it was necessary to report this to the RCMP. These residents, whose families have been here for many generations, and some of their ancestors would have been the original settlers. My own family is expecting a new granddaughter in the next few days, and I worry that in 20 years' time, when she is looking to buy or build a home in this area, it will no longer be available or affordable. Some people have been asking why the town did not have a New Year's levy. When I attended the levy at the institution in Heatherdale, in the few minutes I was there, I saw a number of Montague Town councillors there. And standing by the door, greeting everyone and shaking hands, was our Member of Parliament. CSIS, the Canadian Security and Intelligence Service, has stated that a number of members of Parliament were knowingly or unknowingly under the influence of foreign governments. They also stated that this extended to provincial and municipal governments. It makes one wonder. Some groups are upset about posts on social media, but I think they serve a very useful purpose. Residents who are frustrated and feel unheard are venting this way instead of taking other actions. There have been a number of stories in local media showing these groups handing out fresh rolls and picking up garbage in ditches. These are nothing but photo ops. PEI residents do these things on a daily basis every day of the year, just because they are good neighbors. Canadians are known to be a friendly lot, but the time has come to speak up and be counted, or the province we love will no longer exist. Thank you.
We're at a council meeting, not a fundraising event, so you can keep the clapping to hold the clapping.
Are there any questions?
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Hicken? Mr. Hicken, I'd just like to say, if you, some of the statements you've made, if you have information on that about council being compromised, as somebody put it, or if you have information about any of the things that I would really like you to take it to the RCMP or CSIS and talk to your foreign interference to them, because it's way beyond our town council. So I would really like people to do that, so we can have some facts and clarity on these issues. So if you would do that, I would very much appreciate it.
I'm glad you asked that question, because I'll read from a quote in the Globe and Mail, and it states, and I quote, "The mayor of Three Rivers, Debbie Johnson, is among those that sold their homes to the Buddhists."
I have no idea if that's a personal matter to bring up, and I'm sure there's other people here that have worked for the Buddhist or sold property to them. That's not a me thing. And I have no idea who bought my house. I have no idea if they are a monk. All I know, they were Asian. And I don't discriminate against anybody. So thank you, Mr. Hicken. We'll move on.
Did you ask that newspaper for a retraction if that was not correct?
I didn't feel it was worth it. Anyway, thank you. So number 7 is the mayor's report. It's included in your package. And I just wanted to say that to council that the museum has invited everybody to an open house for the Artifactory on January 18th from 2 to 4. I have another commitment at that time, so I'd appreciate it if somebody could represent me at that. That's a Saturday. Okay, but other than, 2 to 4. Other than that, there's just some things in my report I won't bother going over. We had a very successful Norseman tournament here at our rink this weekend. Great, I'm very thankful for our staff for handling that. As most of you know, the rink is now supervised by the town. There was a lot of people over there, a lot of teams, and there was a good crowd. Anyway, I'll turn it over to the CAO now to have his report. Yes, yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, Debbie, that in your report you said there was about 70 people at the the skate at the wellness center.
Yep.
The little kids and I had a great time. We went out and we distributed 100 squawkers. The kids had a great time with that. The parents not so much, but it was just our way of helping celebrate and bringing the new year. But we left halfway through. I would say there was probably more like 150 people at the wellness center. It was really well received. It was a really good event.
Yeah, it was hard to count. They were in and out.
It was a really good event.
Yeah, and there was also, Councillor Van Donkerschool had attended the breakfast, pancake breakfast with Santa. And Council, okay, Ann and John, and there was a great attendance at that. So that was a new event that was well attended this year.
Yeah, I did have a lot of people approach me about why, even someone as late as last week, why we didn't have a levy. So I did a little bit of homework on what other communities do, and you know, in Surrey, they have a family day in the Surrey rink, and the levy is part of that. and it's ice cream, it's skate, it's bingo for the kids, it's bingo for the seniors, all kinds of things, and they get upwards to 300 people there. I think we could do better on that part of it. You know, I think, you know, I think people really like the levy, and it's mostly seniors that were asking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can, I've sent out some emails, as you know, about what people would like to see next year. I guess it's a little bit different from Surrey, where we have a number of communities. And it's, you know, it's, if we can change it from year to year, but it is hard to say, let's just have one thing in one community. We try to spread it around. So that was the idea this year. So it was just it was the first try at something, and yeah, we can always do better. Okay, I'll turn it over 7.2 to the CAO's report.
Thank you, Your Worship. My report's in your package, so I'll not spend a lot of time on it. I'll just mention a couple of items at a high level. As you mentioned, the holiday celebrations were a little different this year. Activities in Georgetown, Cardigan, and Monica were all well attended and were designed to provide a unique experience, a celebration for each community. As a staff, we've talked about it and have identified certainly the positive parts of it, and we'll probably do a little minor changes and tweaks that we've identified for another year. Our recreation coordinator and events coordinator, Victoria, is working with a committee of volunteers, and they have a great plan for the Winterville Festival, which is a little later on this month, and I encourage everyone to look at the events on our festival webpage. Budget process, we've begun meeting internally. The management team is going through our financials so we can give you the most up-to-date information when we go through our deliberations. And that will be in the 15th, January 15th edition of the graphic, and we'll be requesting written submissions until noon on the 28th from the public, and then oral presentations can be
Thank you, John.
A quick question, the
Yep, go
housing
ahead, Martina.
study, did we finish that?
Staff have received the housing study, we reviewed it, and it needs a number of revisions, and we sent it back to the author with a number of recommendations and clarifications that we're looking for, so we'll be bringing that forward. Can't remember the date if it's set.
So they're supposed to have another draft to us by the end of this month with anticipation of presenting to council at some point in February, as long as we're happy with the results of it, and it doesn't have to go back to them for the work.
I can just ask people if they, anybody that has a microphone to use it, because I think the sound yeah, so it's okay. Okay. Okay, any other questions for John on his report? Any other questions? Okay. 7.3 is the development permit report on page 16. And that's just as written, development reports that have been approved during the month. Any questions on, anybody have any questions on that? Yeah, it is. Yeah, our staff has certainly been busy. Okay, if there's no questions, we'll move along to 7.4, the financial report. And that is also included in your package. If Don to give us an overview.
Actually, Don will provide
Yeah.
a high-level overview of the financials.
Thank you. So this financial is for November 30th, which is the 8th period of the fiscal year. The town is holding strong. We're in a surplus, a cash flow surplus again this month. And we are identifying a few changes that we'll be making as we're into budget. So there will be a more clear financial statement next month. I've made some notes for your guys' views. They've been the same from previous months. Was there any questions on the financial statement I can answer for you?
Anybody have any questions for Dawn? Yes, thanks for the notes, Dawn, at the end there. Martina?
No, I just want to thank you for the excellent job of these financials, and I think they're very, very clear, and I really appreciate the notes at the bottom where we can see why there's a big jump in the numbers, and yeah, it makes it very clear for the public too. So, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's nice to be in the surplus. That's a win for everybody.
Yes, always
Yeah.
nice to be in the surplus, yes. The capital budget, I'm not sure if you want to say anything
Yeah.
about that, Dawn, or not?
So the capital budget hasn't changed much. I did want to make mention, there was a slight error, the day docks capital project is completed. It says ongoing, but it is completed, but it's still capitalized at the same amount, which means that we came in under budget.
Okay, that's great. The time for questions is over, sorry. The reason we don't include the financials in the report is because they're just estimates. If you check, nobody else does. The only report, according to the MGA, that we include is our audited financial statements, and it will be in every year. I think that's the question you had. Yep. 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 Okay.
Can I speak on that? The once a year that you do get to see it is the audited ones, and it's the best picture to see. These are an estimate up until that time, and something could change. But that once a year that you get is the most clear picture of how the town is doing.
Nobody, I think if you check, I don't know if any place gives monthly financial reports just because of the changes in them. So we provide you with the audited statement. Move on to number 8, request for decisions from council, committee of council meeting. The first one is the request for decision 24-56, Georgetown wastewater treatment plant generator. And I think, Dorothy?
I have a little thing.
Oh, this is, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Georgetown's water system, oh, sorry.
Yeah. There he is. Thanks, Cody.
Georgetown's water system operated by EC implemented backup power to their water systems, ensuring a reliable water source during power outages. Processing wastewater that will be sent to Georgetown treatment plant during extended power outages or at any time is crucial. A backup generator will help maintain efficient operations while protecting the environment during extended outages, aids in attracting development by ensuring essential services are always available, and begins the path for climate change adaptation. A tender was issued for a 20 kilowatt generator and transfer switch, modifications to the existing UV building, electrical upgrades, including commissioning and integration. We received 2 tenders, one from AMAC for $93,545 plus HSD, one from Hanson's for $166,700 plus HST. Additional costs of the project are CBCL's engineering and project management in the additional cost of $11,191 plus HST. Other funding options in relation to the adaptation and climate change for this and other sewer projects will begin to open in spring, early summer. In the interim, funding can be allocated from CCBF 12.5.6 sewer and water expansion. So the motion is to award the tender for the backup WWTP generator Georgetown to AMAC in the amount of $93,545 plus HST. The entire project will receive funds from the CCBF 12.5.6 sewer and water expansion, including engineer and management costs of $11,191 plus HST, for a total project cost of $104,736 plus HST, with a total of $120,446.40.
Okay, moved by Councilor Monroe, second by Councilor McLean. Any questions for Deputy Mayor Jenkins? No? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay, motion's carried. Okay, next is 8.2, and I'll pass this on to Danielle. It's a loan renewal.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is further follow-up from the previous Committee of Council meeting. So various banking institutions were approached to provide quotes on rates and terms to renew a combined existing loan for Montague Water and Sewer Utility in the town of Three Rivers, which is up for renewal, or was up for renewal as of December 31st, 2024. We received 3 different interest rate quotes, which are part of the report in the package. So therefore, the recommendation to council is, be it resolved. Your Worship, would you like me to read the resolution, or would you like to read the resolution?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Town of Three Rivers Town Council authorizes a loan through Scotiabank in the amount of $288,643.67 for the renewal of an existing loan. This loan will be paid in full over a 2-year term at a rate of 3.943% and will be repaid in estimated monthly blended payments in the amount of $12,527.01. The Montague Water and Sewer Utility will be responsible for $12,074.78 of the monthly payment, and the town will be responsible for $452.23 of the monthly payment. This amount will not exceed the Town of Three Rivers debt limits as defined in the general borrowing bylaw.
Okay, moved by Deputy Mayor Jenkins, second by Councilor McFarland. Questions on this motion? Any questions? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carried. Okay. At this time, I need a motion to. Oh, sorry. 8.3, sorry about that. Request for decision 2455 website redesign, and I'll let John handle. Okay, Danielle.
Thank you, Worship. This is also a further follow-up from the previous Committee of Council, one of the requests for decisions for a website upgrade. The town's current website has been in place for a number of years. Staff have been reviewing other options, and upon doing so, it has become obvious the current site is dated and the security is not up to current municipal standards. Staff and management met with representatives of GHD Digital, a company that has built and managed over 700 municipal websites in Canada. They have an excellent product that is reasonably priced and much easier to operate than the current website. GHD Digital is a company that is part of the CNU procurement program, which was formerly known as the FPEIM trade program, which is permitted to be used as per the town's procurement policy. Currently, the town pays an annual fee of $203 to host the current website. There is no current contract with the website provider, as the previous provider, Insight Studio, have transitioned to a different business venture under a different entity. If we require work to be completed on our current website, it would be based on a fee for service from a provider that we choose. So therefore, we recommend to council to approve the following motion. Be it resolved that the Town of Three Rivers Town Council approves the implementation and subscription with GHD Digital for a new town website for the total amount quoted of $16,070 plus HST. This includes the implementation and a 3-year subscription.
Moved by Councilor Monroe, second by Councilor McDonald. Any questions on this decision, this motion? Any questions for Danielle? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion carried. Okay, now we're gonna move into a closed session, as per, 119(1)(e) of the MGA, so we'll ask, we will reconvene after the, closed meeting, but right now, we're gonna have. Okay, yep. So I'm asking for a motion to close the meeting. Moved by Councilor Monroe, second by Deputy Mayor Jenkins. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so the meeting is closed and will, re-adjourn after this closed session.